Good morning, San Diego. Are you ready for VeeamON?
Everything Veeam has done since we started has always been all about you.
Version 13 software appliance.
I'm excited about what we're going to do together.
You're watching VeeamON Today, powered by Object First. I'm Rick Vanover, the Rickatron. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of April, 2025. We just closed the second keynote of the event. I am super happy to steal somebody from yesterday. We've got Neeraj Tolia, our CTO, joining us here today. Welcome, Neeraj.
Rick, thank you for having me here. Excited.
Yeah, it's really fun to have this show and happy to host our sponsors. Our guest will be David Bennett, CEO of Object First, later up in the show. But Neeraj, tell us a little bit about your very interesting story of how you've come to Veeam, maybe twice.
Yeah, so as some of you might know, I've been in data protection for a while, right? I don't tell too many people, but I actually did a PhD in data deduplication back in the day. But I've been in building custom backup software for advancing the state of the art over the years, right? So startups I have been involved in, right, were acquired first by EMC back in the day. And it's funny, I still run into Veeam customers that are still using stuff that I wrote a long time ago. But most recently, right, I co-founded Kasten, which Veeam acquired, and more recently Alcyon, which was an AI-based data protection company that Veeam acquired roughly 7 months ago or so.
Oh, get me on the spot. September 2024, that was the acquisition, and then October 2020 was the Kasten. I'm the resident Veeam historian. I know that stuff right off the top of my head. Now, Neeraj, you mentioned the AI angle here, and that is really something I want to highlight. You know, the domain was alcyon.ai.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the story of how you've built the products, and we showed some stuff just now. You announced some stuff yesterday, but tell us about how we got there from the journey.
Sure, right. So what I like to claim, right, and which is true, is that Alcyon was a pre-ChatGPT AI company. Right, so we knew there was something here before even the generative AI momentum really took off. And the reason for that is I've been in data protection for a while, but the scale of problems we run into, security is a very big part of it, but also just the operational burden on our backup administrators today was so high. We're like, the only sane way to solve it was going to be via AI. Right, Alcyon was a startup that did that, but Veeam, I'm super excited to be back here again because it's just such a much larger platform to be able to execute on this vision. And this is what we also heard about in the keynote yesterday, talking about what Veeam is doing in the areas of AI that delivers value to all our end users.
Yeah, I think that's really important because I love that. I've said, you know, some of the things that we've seen in some of the previews, both today and leading up to this, is that the only practical or sane way to do it is AI. You know, whatever analogy you want to say, the needle in the haystack or the incredible time save. Like some of the things that Ben was showing us on these pilots here, that would take a week or more to do that without the power of these technologies. And it's really fantastic. So tell me a little bit about the team behind Veeam Data Cloud and some of these services you're building.
Yeah, so we often, we talk a lot about the amazing technology that Veeam has built, but not the people behind it. But really, this is what also makes me excited about coming to work every day. The team we have is great, right? These are people that have built large-scale systems, right, at other hyperscalers, at other data protection companies, have run services for a long time. and just are mature about how important data is. I mean, this is not a meta move fast and break things approach. This is an approach of how do we responsibility of protecting our data, of ensuring data resilience very seriously. So when I go look at the team, people focus on reliability, uptime, durability, it's all the fundamentals. That is the foundation to build some of these higher level primitives on top on. So right, it's super excited about just the people I work with on a daily basis.
Yeah, and you know, and let me put this together in some terms here for the Veeam audience. There was no mistake. It was not an accident that the first service that Niraj and his team brought to market was Vault, right? Because this is that gateway. I think Dave snuck in the word of data fabric on the session here today. And you know, that's still something that we should celebrate. It's been in market since, I want to say it was October of last year when that came into the mix. But anything you want to share about Veeam Data Cloud Vault and some of the milestones the team has brought?
So Vault is just an amazing product, both from what it helps customers with, but for Veeam also, right? Fastest growing product, we have thousands of customers in our history, right? As a historian, you know, right? Fastest product to many millions in ARR. But I think the bigger thing than the internal milestones is the external ones, right? The most rewarding story I heard recently was a customer that had adopted Vault, 2 weeks later got hit by ransomware. Attackers had admin credentials, but could not go delete data, right? Data was always encrypted, always immutable in Vault. We're able to bring everything back without paying a single dollar of ransom. And that is what really makes it worth it.
Yeah, that is fantastic, Niraj. And I've been telling the story so many times that if we have Veeam backup data in an object storage resource, and it's very important that we also have that user set encryption key, I confirmed from our tech support team, Niraj, that we don't have a case on record of customers unable to recover data. And to have that built into Vault right from the start, I think with that example, and then going to those other examples I've highlighted, it is so powerful. So keep up the good work, Niraj. Thank you so much. Any kind of closing comments?
No, right? Well, actually a couple, right? I think we announced a lot at VeeamON. If you haven't caught up with the wrap-ups, definitely do. Rick will talk some more about this today. But there's just so much that we have in store for you coming over the next 12 months when we go look at pushing AI to deliver true value, reduce operational toil for our customers, make things possible that were not simply scalable. I think you're just going to love what you're going to see emerge from us all under a single pane of glass, modern experience. I am personally very excited about getting this out to all of you, and I think you'll be excited too.
Well, I can confirm, friends, what Niraj and his team are working on are absolutely a priority from our leadership team. I'm excited. Innovation is coming, and they are moving fast. Watch this space. We've got nice click-through demos, transparent pricing up on the Veeam Data Cloud website. Great job, Niraj. All right, next up, we're going to do something fun. And at the start of this keynote, you know, I never thought I'd hear a wrap based around Veeam Data Cloud and Veeam Data Platform, but you know what? It's VeeamON. That's what we did. Let's take a look at this highlight from the keynote.
I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just gonna get started. Welcome to Cali, time to rally, now it's VeeamON. Green V logo on a t-shirt and it's the theme song. This the keynote, the CISO's gotta keep their business running. So we got a one and only CEO Anand to tell them all what's coming. Veeam Data Platform is that software that you must install. Veeam Data Cloud is hosted, so we'll take care of it all. Veeam Data Vault, we got your backup stored right in the cloud. Fast recovery for when you need to pull them down. Cyber security, assurity, and peace of mind. 550K customer base, trust me, you'll be just fine. Ransomware is everywhere, so you gotta make sure that you're protected. Have no fear, cause Veeam is here. Make sure you do what we suggested. 3, 2, 1 with a copy job. Too fast, but this ass can't stop it, dog. Linux, hardened, object lock, immutable backups with a cherry on top. Salesforce, cast and Intra ID, we can back it all up, whatever it might be. Data resilience, maturity model, #1 in the community, we coming full throttle. Welcome to VeeamON, we about to go. Now please take your seat, so we can start the show. Let me hear you scream, one time for Veeam. Best Best data resilience platform that you've ever seen. Welcome to VeeamON. We about to go. Now please take your seat so we can start the show. Let me hear you scream one time for Veeam. Best data resilience platform that you've ever seen. Hey, 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 oh, oh. Yeah. Yo, how y'all feeling, San Diego? Welcome to VeeamON 2025, baby.
You're watching VeeamON Today, powered by Object First. And VeeamON, it is going on. And if you haven't signed up, you got to go over to VeeamON.com. You can watch some of the content. You can watch some of the keynotes. You can interact with some of our partners. If you're watching on the social streams, you got to go over there to get the goods. And I'm joined by one of the key sponsors of our event and the sponsor of this show, David Bennett, CEO of Object First. Welcome back to the show, David.
Great to be here again. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for sponsoring VeeamON Today, both so 2 years in a row. Let's start with the big picture. You know, I use it in the lab, fully transparent. It works great for us there. But you know, if we look at the past year, look at some of the big picture, some of the growth, anything new or goals that you want to share over the last year?
Yeah, it's been a kind of a crazy fast whirlwind. We saw over 300% growth in customers, 200% growth in partners. We obviously expanded into EMEA end of last year. And as you think about that, just the explosive growth, we also added 100 employees. And whilst we launched a product that was designed for really the mid-market, we added north of 60 enterprise customers as well.
That is wild because it's really tricky to work all the segments. But you know what? That sounds awfully familiar. Veeam isn't bound into any vertical, any segment and such. So maybe it's intentional. But what are
maybe.
maybe. What are some of the drivers of that growth?
A couple of things is design a product for a very particular use case. And obviously we're here. Our product only works with Veeam. And it's specifically designed to solve that on-prem need for immutable storage for Veeam customers. And obviously, first of all, we launched it with a couple of small products. As we've got use cases from that and learned from our customers, two things they asked for. I want a smaller box, and I want a bigger box. And of course, a couple of weeks ago, that's exactly what we launched.
Yeah, so those new sizes were really targeted to small business and large enterprises. Was that, you know, that feedback led to the decision, or was it, you know, supply chain or economics of scales? What kind of got you to those sizes?
It was customer feedback. So we'd had some of the bigger accounts saying, hey, I really want to be able to consolidate this down onto a single device, things like that. So we launched a 432 terabyte with obviously Veeam with a SOBA, we can scale out to 7 petabytes. And then of course you've either got smaller customers, or you may have had like a site office or something like that that says, I love your product, I've got it in my data center, but I also need something in my, let's say my Utah office, but they only have 20 terabytes. Well, you know what? We launched a 20 and a 40 for exactly that reason.
That's incredible. I mean, I look at, you know, the Veeam audience, and there's a lot of different needs. You know, I've seen, you know, single site edge deployments, you know, is a fancy word for some of those, as well as very dense data centers. And, you know, just kind of an inside baseball thing here, we had to adjust the schedule because David was going to be on yesterday, but we had something come up, a news, an event. We want to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I think we've launched something that, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a different industry, is I think, kind of remember what Netflix did to videos. It's about delivering. It wasn't necessarily about a subscription or things like that, but you used to be able to have to get in your car, drive down the road, go rent a video, come home, you'd probably stop and buy some other things, and you've paid gas, you've gone there, you've done that, you've wasted an hour of your life, and you've spent a bunch of money up front. And then suddenly Netflix comes along and says, you don't need to do it anymore. So I think what we've delivered, what Netflix did to the video industry, we're going to do to the storage industry and revolutionize how someone can consume a on-prem secure storage solution, specifically Veeam. And what we launched was a consumption-based model. So instead of paying for something up front, pay for what you use. And as your business grows, you can scale with it. So no longer do you have to go and figure out, how do I go and find a CapEx budget up front and beg and plead for your CFO to say, I've absolutely got to add this. I mean, we've heard from the last couple of days of ransomware, security, all those kind of things. I've got to do something, but how many times have people been stopped because we have no budget? I mean, who now can say, I can't afford $1,000 a month or a couple of $1,000 a month to secure your business? Seems a little crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely defensible when you put it that way. And one of my favorite managers of my career back in the day, he used to say, getting storage isn't a problem. It's getting the money for storage that's a problem. This guy solved that problem. That's fantastic. And in exact terms like that. So fantastic. So you are watching VeeamON Today, powered by Object First, and you can still register over at VeeamON.com. We've got breakouts, we've got partner interactions, we've got the keynotes, all kinds of fun stuff. But let's take a look from today's video sponsor, Object First, and get a look at their solution, the Object First UTP. You're watching VeeamON Today, powered by Object First. It's kind of weird to set it up with the video with the CEO right next to me here. We are here with David Bennett, CEO of Object First, yet still. And, David, I want to say that, we're going through a lot. We're just had Niraj up talking about Veeam Data Cloud, but I'm still a believer in the gravity of data on premises, much less the full control. And from a Veeam perspective, backups go faster from an incremental standpoint. Restores are quicker on your own network and things like that. But how do you see, some behaviors changing in the market with how you've gone to market in the years with different customers and such?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. I mean, we actively tell people you should have a second or third copy in the cloud and actively promote Veeam Data Cloud Vault because it's a great product and you should do that. But there are times when you say, okay, maybe I'm a small business or things like that, and maybe my bandwidth doesn't allow me to go and recover multiple terabytes in a couple of hours. And so the on-prem solution goes and solves that. And I think that's what we've really found. And we obviously have a customer here that's actually talking right now, Marysville Schools. They had that scenario. So they'd set up everything. Guy got a phone call, everything taken out. And we were the only product that survived because he couldn't actually access the cloud because everything was shut down. So he had no ability to actually access the cloud anyhow, and being a regional school, bandwidth was challenged. We were able to recover him and get him up and running. And I said early on, we're in the business of saving people's lives, and people joked. You listen to that guy and what they had to go through, and then you listen to some of the hospitals that unfortunately were attacked and we've been able to recover. We're in the business of saving people's lives.
Oh, I believe it. In fact, that Marysville school, that's actually very close to me in Central Ohio. I'm very familiar with that organization and that situation, and really great to see kind of relatively young companies have the ability to get customers to talk about a bad thing. That's hard because usually customers don't want to share some of the good, bad, or the ugly, that type of thing. So
absolutely,
yeah, that's hard work. I can confirm that. But tell me about, the business. I know I like to say here at Veeam that partnerships are in our DNA, and I know that that's probably a recipe that you're stealing from us over here at Veeam, but that's okay. But what kind of feedback are you hearing from customers and partners as you've gone to market so far?
I think the things we're hearing is, obviously we're as you said, we're very close to Veeam.
Yeah.
You guys do really well, so you know what? Why don't we look at how you've taken products to market? And then if you think about our three pillars, we focus on simple, secure, and powerful. I'm a simple guy, so business should be simple, and bring a product market should be simple. And I think we've taken that mantra through our partners, and partners have really said, okay, this is a new incremental product, it's incremental margin to me. I clearly see my end users have a problem. And actually our problem is when you demo the product, everyone says, is that it? Because they're used to complex technologies. I mean, how many companies have we met that way overcomplicate technology? It's hard to implement. As soon as it's hard to implement, it becomes insecure, and it definitely doesn't become powerful because you can't scale. And so really taking those 3 pillars, we've taken that through our partner organization, our go-to-market organization, and when we demo it to end users, people are just like, wow, it actually does exactly what you say you're going to go and do. And you speak to any IT manager now, they don't do one thing, they do 100 things.
Yeah, I get that. And that's one of those things I like to say. There's no Veeam job title, or there's no Veeam administrator job title out there on LinkedIn. And you're not going to see one as well for Object First. I get it. That simple, in fact, way back in the day, somewhere on my wall in the office, it says simple, powerful, and affordable, or something like that, or powerful, easy to use, and affordable, something like that. But, it's changing over time. And, the data protection space is evolving. In fact, Cusimano on your team, Anthony, I like to say with him about the 32110 rule. He likes it. That's Brunel, Florida. But then we went to 32120 rule. That's Daytona Beach. He likes that as well. He's a Florida person. But things are changing, right? You need that offsite copy. That's an absolute must-have thing. We all agree with that. In fact, with Niraj's Vault technology, safe way to do that. You can implement that today. Very easy to do. But what kind of evolutions are you seeing in the industry? What are you and the teams looking at closely?
I mean, I think unless you've been living under a rock a couple of years, everyone and their dog has been talking about AI. And whilst that's really around today business optimization, like it or not, that's going to expand data. And so as you think about the expansion of information and things like that, as things get faster or we get delivered information faster, you're going to want to recover it faster. And it's really cool listening to Raj and say how some of that AI has been built into Veeam. As you think about the future, people are going to want to recover faster. And so how are we optimizing the product to work specifically with Veeam to do exactly that and make it simple and be able to do it in a timely fashion is going to be really important. And honestly, it's focusing on the basics. What's important to a business? And I came from the security industry, so I spent years trying to stop the bad guys getting in. What's really important is, can you recover? And how fast can you recover? And so that's what we're going to stay focused on, is really that secure, simple, and powerful message, and be absolutely maniacally focused on Veeam for that.
Yeah, fantastic. And so one more question here. We got time for one more here with you, David. If I was to ask you, what to look forward to in the next year from Object First and such, what kind of advice would you give to the audience going forward?
I would say search out the video from Tom and his experience and some of the customer experience, and what's it really like when the bad thing happens when you wake up. I think some of the other things is look out for, obviously we launched the consumption model. How can you get this technology without figuring out, I've got to go and argue with my CFO, and then as you go through the rest of the year, as we've expanded our portfolio, you're going to start seeing around improvements of ease of multi-management across different devices and things like that. So all aligned to that, fun enough, secure, simple, powerful, keeping it really easy.
Yeah, and trust me, friends, he's built an incredible team. Their Chief Product Officer, Eric Schott, Chief Technology, Avaz, a very, very deep Veeam knowledge. You guys are doing the good work. Thank you so much for joining me here today, David.
Thank you.
Outstanding. All right, so one of the cool things that we have here at VeeamON is we're just walking up to random people and sticking a microphone in their face. And you know what? They said some amazing things. We captured a few of those. Let's check those out just now.
First question is, what's been your favorite thing about VeeamON so far?
With this being my 10th VeeamON, I would just say getting together with the partners and just seeing the excitement in the room when we roll out new programs that can help them, keep their customers data always running. So I really like that part.
So many things, but definitely the sessions. Sessions about, all sorts of themes from the Veeam side, what's to come, and then also our customers.
Well, the best part about VeeamON for me is sneaking around and observing the crowd and seeing how they're in these pockets of collaboration. Not just groups that are from the same company, but people from different companies that are talking about issues in cybersecurity and how to solve this problem of cyber attacks.
VeeamON has been great. The keynote was an awesome example of all the really cool, innovative products that Veeam is building on the Microsoft stack. And I manage the technical partnership, and so just seeing the cool engineering work over the last 2 years has been impressive. At Veeam's scale, the number of customers that Veeam has acquired has been amazing. Like, there has not been another company that I've worked with that has grown at this scale.
You're watching VeeamON Today, powered by Object First. That was a really cool look around the VeeamON experiences. But you know what? If you're not here in San Diego, that's okay. We've got this thing called the internet. Go on over to VeeamON.com. You can register and watch some of the breakouts and some of the different experiences that we have. You can still sign up. All right, now we're going to do the most interesting part of our VeeamON Today show, which is steal a slide. I love to go into the content library and just take other people's stuff. It's a game show sweeping the nation. Well, not really. But it's a really cool way to take a look at different VeeamON experiences. You know, I thought with what we ended with Neeraj and what we talked about with David, let's talk about some ransomware perspectives. And I've got Javier and Bill Siegel, CEO of Coveware by Veeam. I want to talk about their high-level view of a ransomware attack. This is super interesting in my perspective. When you start at the left are those most common attack vectors: phishing, remote access compromise, exploiting software vulnerabilities. These three on the far left are the most common ways that threats start. Coveware provides some research, some reports and things like that are debriefs from their case operations. And it just really tells us that some of these basics that we've had for years are still the most popular modes of entry. How do we sort that? Well, we look at multi-factor authentication. We look at password rotation. We look at doing updates and security awareness training. This is the number one most important thing. And then if we think about some of the tactics, if those first three things, you know, don't protect us, then there's malware injection, some tactics and techniques around command and control, lateral movement, privilege escalation. These things all are how they start, you know, preparing to strike. And if we look at the green box, where are they going to strike? They're going to go to some of the production data. They're going to go to backup data. And then that disruption that they provide is really around either exfiltration or impacting the business, right? So having that ability to recover data is really important. And then when it comes to exfiltration, you know what? Those indicators of compromise, we talk about those on one of the previous shows. That is also super, super powerful way to help protect organizations from when threat actors start to prepare to activate some of the different behaviors, including exfiltration and execution of the threats, right? So that's my steal a slide number one. But I've got the rest of the time here today. I'm going to steal from one of our most popular registered sessions here in San Diego, the hidden feature hunt. And first of all, I just love what they've done. This is coming from both Andreas and Fabian, who are in Austria and then in Switzerland. And these two are really a detective. The hidden feature hunt, they're going deep inside of Veeam Data Platform, and they are looking for some really interesting things. And you know what? They found stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is their detect potential compromise early. And this is a capability that aligns to Veeam Threat Hunter, which, you know, again, sounds great. We have this way of seeing potential problems, but the mission is, can we see if there's any new ways to detect any presence of a threat actor without running a secure restore or a backup, right? Sure backup or secure restore. How can we do it without doing all those works? Well, those indicators of compromise that I spoke about, these are absolutely fantastic. One thing that's not in the slide, I want to draw everyone's attention to Veeam Knowledge Base article 4514. If your Veeam data platform, specifically Veeam backup and replication servers, not connected to the internet, you'll want to update this file manually. I'd say maybe every week or two, this file takes an update. It has both individual ransomware file extensions that we're looking for, but more importantly, some of these TTPs, tools, tactics, and procedures. When we think about the tools, tactics, and procedures that these threat actors can use, we've talked about this indicators of compromise technology. It was in the Eric O'Neill keynote. It was in Veeam Data Platform keynote. I'm going to talk about it now because it's really important. This is looking for the arrival of some of these TTPs that the threat actors use. For example, Bill Siegel spoke about this yesterday. TeamViewer is a normal thing that IT admins do, but the threat actors are doing this living off the land behavior. This can detect potential warning signs of these things arriving in a preemptive mode. So this is a really interesting indicator of compromise detection as part of Veeam Data Platform 12.3. All right, next up is role-based access control. Now, the roles that are in Veeam Data Platform are going to take a massive enhancement. Emily just showed some of that in the keynote, and if you haven't signed up for VeeamON.com on the online experience, you can't watch the keynotes. We didn't stream those, but we can check those out here with the next iteration of role-based access control. But where we are today, you definitely want to make sure that you have these security administrator roles in place. So check this out as well. If you're using some of the different security platforms that are in the mix, the security administrator role is a really important way to put additional controls into your Veeam Data Platform environment. All right, that is me stealing slides. We're getting close to the end of VeeamON, and you know what? VeeamON Today, powered by Object First, is a really important show. We highlight a lot of things, but we have so much more going on today. We have more sessions. There's super sessions that are going to be recorded and put on the virtual experience. You've got to go over to VeeamON.com to register for those. All right, on behalf of our producers, they got 3 in the box over here and 2 over there. They are making this show, putting it together for me. I'm so grateful for them. I'm Rick Vanover, the Rickatron, live from San Diego. Thanks for watching VeeamON Today, powered by Object First.